Hello, John Bloodworth, Gentleman Crafter here again. This time around I shall be digitizing for machine embroidery, and it's this unique mandala design that I've created. I'm going to be using the Hatch Embroidery digitizing software as I have done before. If you'd like to know more about that and download a 30-day free trial, please head over to hatchembroidery.com. Now, just a word of warning, I have sped this video up, so I might be going a little quicker than you'd expect. Don't forget, YouTube allows you to slow videos down, and of course you can pause and rewatch as many times as you like. So I started by inserting the artwork from the artwork toolbox on the left, and now I'm using the thread docker to choose the threads that I want to work with in this design. When I was creating the line art for this, I did actually include a couple of hints for myself about which sections to create and then which would be mirrored and rotated, because we have some fantastic creative tools in the Hatch Embroidery software. I'm now preparing to digitize an open shape, so that's something that won't get closed, basically to you and me, a line. I set it up to be a single run stitch with a length of 2.5mm. And I'm just using the left click, right click principle of Hatch Embroidery software to create a series of points along which the embroidery machine will stitch. The left gives you a sharp point and the right click gives you a rounded point. When you're done digitizing the points, you just basically hit enter and it sets the stitches in place. You can change the width of the dockers as I'm doing here to give you more room to see, or you can even close them completely. Now in the layouts toolbar, you've got this circle layout tool, and you can change the number of repetitions, select the object you want to replicate or create a layout from, and then weld it to be a closed shape. So effectively I've only had to digitize 1/8 of that outline to get the whole shape, which I think is a great time saver. I can then change it from an outline to a fill and apply whichever of the different styles I want. In this case, a stipple single run. And I've changed the parameters of that stitch to give me a much more condensed pattern. I've hidden that so I can go on to do the next stage, which is digitizing some of the circle elements. In fact, no, I'm not. I'm digitizing a hole for the background. So if I unhide the background and go to the Edit Objects toolbar, I can use the Remove Overlaps function to punch a hole through that design. And then I can change the circle to be something else. So I'm creating a full background with two different styles. There we go, that's how it looks so far. I can easily change the colours at any point, which is quite good when you're a bit fickle like me. And I can also change the start and stop points of the stitching so that there'll be less trailing thread when it jumps from one section to another. And I do that by going into the reshape tools and then moving this green square or red cross. The green is the in point where it starts stitching, and the red is the end point. Okay, let's get my artwork back and hide the current stitches. Next up, I'm going to start digitizing the floral outlines. Not outlines, what do you call them? I don't know. I'm sure you'll know. You'll be shouting at your screen right now. So again, I'm using this principle of creating just a section and then copying and pasting it using the layout tools to create a radial design. And I'm basically going forwards in one direction and then back so that I don't have to keep breaking the thread. I can just keep on stitching. You can see there on the original artwork I gave myself a few key pointers about where I should start and finish with little green and red arrows. It's handy to work out how you're going to digitize a design as you're doing it or as you're creating it. That way it's kind of a little easier and quicker, in my personal opinion. Okay, so you can see there I've created one section as I did before, and now going to use the layout tools to replicate that. Now, when I did this before, I did weld all of those replications together. This time I'm choosing not to, but it will just carry on stitching. Now I did go back because I wanted to just check that the in and out points were where I wanted them, and they weren't, so I gave the little green one a move about. You might be wondering why I'm zooming in a lot. I just wanted to make sure I got the center point as accurately as possible, so that those rotations of that flower design were aligned. So I'm now going on to create the next rotation. Radial designs are really good because you can speed through them by doing this method of working them into sections of a pie almost. By the way, if you do have any questions about what I'm doing as I'm doing it, feel free to chuck them in the questions section below this video or in the comment section on my blog gentlemancrafter.com. I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. Generally a couple of days pass, but hopefully you will get an answer. Not hopefully, you will get an answer. Just going around the perimeter of that flower one more time. If ever you put a point down and you're not happy with it, you can use your backspace key to delete all the way back along that line. So you can always correct any little hiccups as you work along before you set the stitches in place by pressing the enter key. Okay, again, just checking the in and out points. I basically want it to start at one end and finish at the other, and then using those layout tools to create all of the other copies. I can also group them in the sequence tab by selecting all of the relevant parts and then pressing Ctrl and G, and that means that I can also then go on to apply any changes to the stitch type or the stitch color just by selecting one of the components of that round. Okay, on to the next one. By the way, for anyone that doesn't know, I have actually only been digitizing for a very short amount of time. I've been doing a lot of embroidery over the years, but I've generally worked with shop-bought designs. It was only recently when I found out about Hatch embroidery software that I've really gotten into this myself, and this software is very easy to learn and very easy to pick up. You can probably tell from the interface it's very similar to many other software packages that you've used, especially graphics packages, and it has the fabulous toolbars to organize things down the left. So that's your starting point, and then you've got the context toolbar across the top, and of course the dockers on the right to help you make decisions and make changes to your design very quickly. So if you're thinking about having a go at digitizing, it's definitely well worth a look. Just checking the in and out points. and then doing the rotations with the layout tool, grouping them, and I'll bring back the original stuff that I digitized and get rid of the artwork for a moment. And there we go, that's where I'm at so far. And in real time that took around 20 minutes. So I hope you'll join me in part 2, where I'll continue on with this design. That's it for this time. If you've enjoyed this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments section below. And for more from me in the future, please remember to subscribe to this channel. Thanks for watching.